Hello, and welcome to episode 25 of the Chronicles with us, the Red Devil Chronicle. My name's Andy.
My name's Nick.
And this week, it's United chat around the end-of-season review. It's Louis Van Gaal gone, and Jose, will he divide or conquer? That's up next. There's a buzz around the club and there is a buzz in the studio. Jose Mourinho is at Old Trafford for next season, which means we can probably review the season that we've had, albeit an awful one, with smiles on faces at least. I'm joined as ever by Nick to my left and Joe through the glass, and we're going to talk to you about the big issues from this season and what Mourinho needs to do going forward to make United a giant club again, as he describes us. So welcome to the show, gents. It's nice to have you along again.
Hello, Charles.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right.
Yeah, is this how the 25th show's going to go?
It's how it's going to go.
All rules out the window.
Every single rule out the window. How are you doing? It's been a while.
It has been far too long, but what a great week to return on. Season's over, Van Gaal's out, Mourinho's in. Joe, there's a buzz around the club. Can you feel the buzz? I know Mourinho wasn't our first choice. Are you going to lower the tone straight away? How are you feeling about Mourinho's appointment?
I mean, I'm feeling something. I don't know what it is, but it's not right, is it? I don't know. I've said it numerous times on this podcast that as soon as you appoint Mourinho, the club may as well be named after him. So I've already decided that they're taking the United sign down and putting Mourinho. So it's going to be called Manchester Mourinho from now on.
I think you can catch on.
It's all right. I guess he could attract some big names, and that is probably what we need because we haven't got any. So thinking if we do get people like Zlatan and Martial up front, it's just wrong, isn't it? It's wrong. So
Sounds quite nice to me.
I know, but it's wrong in the way that it's right. That's what I'm saying. It's just I don't know. I'm excited to see something different because we've had enough, haven't we? Really, we've had Moyes, we've had that joke who's just gone, and now we've got something else, and it could either turn into another joke, or it could go completely the way that we hope it's going to go and make us that big club again, as you say.
There's always that threat in the Nick that it could very quickly turn into a circus around Mourinho. But in the initial period of him coming in with the positivity that we're feeling and the way he's commented about the club and always has done, I mean, his whole career's been a job interview for Man United when you listen back. Do you think the positivity will transfer to the players, that winning mentality? Because we have a lot of weak players, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think it's an injection that we need that we don't have, and I don't think it's a short fix anymore. I think he's here long term because you can't keep running around at 53, trying of different clubs all over Europe. You can't keep doing that.
Will he build a dynasty then? I mean, is he able to? You're saying long term. What are you talking about long term? Like,
I'm thinking he's going to be here next 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, I think if it goes to plan, I think he'd be here next 10 years. People say that he doesn't introduce youth and all that stuff, and he plays part of the bus football. But he set the La Liga record in a time where Messi was about and Pep Guardiola was about, and he scored, I think it was 121 goals in La Liga for Real Madrid, which is still currently the record. So I think he's a manager who adapts to what he's got, and if he has a good team, he'll play attacking football. If he doesn't have a not so good team, which we're not, he'll play what he needs to play to get the result. Absolutely
right. He's pragmatic, isn't he? He can change his methods, and as you say, there is this myth around the fact that he doesn't play youth. But I think that's been more around the clubs that he's been at. They don't introduce youth.
Chelsea aren't really known for their
exactly. They're known for products. Loaning out their youth products,
about
but
65 of them,
not developing them. I mean, Joe, you can change your methods as a manager, and as I say, he's a pragmatic man. He's a little bit confrontational, though. You can change the way you approach a game, but can you change Mourinho's personality? There was a lot said, Sir Bobby Charlton didn't really want Mourinho at first because of the behaviour, from what he expects from the club to have dignity and class. Are there concerns there at all for you?
A tiny bit. I think that's why I don't like him as much as maybe the next person. That I can't. It's quite. We are a giant club, and there's a certain way our managers should act, and they have acted in the past. I know Van Gaal has been a bit of a joke in interviews, and it's kind of gone the other way towards the end. I mean, throwing himself on the floor. That's kind of not United, is it? We're quite a pure club, but it's modern day football. We're gonna have to change someday, aren't we? We can't stick in the old 50s, 60s era, 90s. It's not the same anymore. So these managers are going to come in. They are going to be different, and we've kind of got to accept it. And if you're going to get a good manager like Jose Mourinho, you kind of have to accept some of the traits he brings along with him.
Absolutely right. I mean, Nick, it is an end-of-season review, so as much as we need to talk about Jose, and we'll continue to do so throughout the remainder of the show, we are going to have to take a brief, and it is going to be a brief look back on the season that we've just had.
He who shall not be named.
Absolutely,
is how I want to refer to him now.
And so, what, if anything, do we have to thank Van Gaal for? I know you had a tweet about a couple of things that you said you could arguably say you'd thank him for. Is there anything that he has done for this club that could help us even going forward?
No.
So you take back your comments that you made?
Yeah, because I thought about that, and I think even if he would have had me or you in charge, we could have probably done something with United. You know, that's how bad it got. He was fortunate to get introduced to Rashford. I don't think it was a genius decision by Van Gaal to introduce him. He still carried on calling Fellaini Fellarney, even though he'd been there for 2 seasons, which used to peck my head something rotten. So the only thing I could possibly thank him for is that he's gone.
Right. So you appreciate that?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thanks for going, Louis.
And he was obviously professional at all times and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, he's gone.
Mostly.
He's gone, so yeah, I'm glad he's gone. He was a wrong appointment, but at the time I thought he might be a breath of fresh air, but
clearly
you know,
not.
hindsight's
breath.
a beautiful thing. Yeah,
it certainly is. Joe, when did it change for you during the season? At what point? I mean, for me personally, I remember I was sat with Nick watching the Stoke game away at the Britannia on Boxing Day. And that, for me, when we lost that game in an utter shambles, that was the day for me that I thought Louis Van Gaal, I felt for sure, was going. So I couldn't believe that he managed to last as long as he did. When did it turn for you? Was it before then? After then? When did things turn for you? When did you think his job is now untenable?
I mean, I told you on the way up that I've been listening back through the archive of Red Devil Chronicle and just kind of trying to find the best bits, and I struggled with trying to say anything good about Van Gaal. That's what I was having a look for, if we actually praised anything at one point. And I think we started off like this season rightly thinking we have a bit better chance to get top 4. We kind of took that for granted. We thought that was just going to happen, and that maybe we could challenge for a title, maybe we could get something. We spoke about the FA Cup. If would winning a cup be good enough? We've got that.
And it wasn't.
Yeah, so it isn't good enough. So I'm kind of thinking that, I don't know, when did it change? I think the whole season we knew.
So you think at the start of the season you were expecting him to go any time?
After the season before, yes, we got 4th. But was there a buzz around the club?
He just didn't fit. He didn't fit at all. He wasn't right. You could sense it. Like, we scraped 4th last year for that miraculous 5-game run that we talked about. And if we wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have got top 4. It was a fluke.
Would he have gone then, though? If he hadn't got 4th in the first year?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he should have gone.
I'd imagine so. It's probably a minimum requirement.
I think we kind of just didn't. We never really accepted him as our manager, did we? I think we kind of just thought he himself came in and said it's just a 3-year thing.
I still think he was convinced it was 1995.
Year I was born, so maybe.
Got back in his time machine. Going forward then, in terms of the summer then ahead, obviously a massive one, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more detail in just a moment with some guests who are going to join us over the phone. First summer signing, for you, Nick, I'll start with you. Who's your priority, first of all? Who would you love to see?
Attackers.
You want to see attackers?
We need to sign.
Who would be the first name that you would get on the dotted line?
Anyone I can have.
Yeah.
Oh, Lionel Messi.
I had a feeling you were going to be awkward about it.
No, Antoine Griezmann, Andy, if I'm being honest with you, he'd probably be the first. I would go all out for him. I think he's the closest thing we have at the moment to the next big superstar. He's 25. He'll score you a hatful of goals. 70, 80 million to get you him. I'd get him, I'd get Zlatan in. And I don't like this thing about Zlatan, his age and that rubbish. He's a quick fix, yeah, I agree with that. But he's world class, and he scored 52 goals in for last season for PSG.
And I think 18 assists as well.
If he gets half of what he got last season in the Premier League, he'll be our top goal scorer by a mile. So it's a no-brainer for me. I'd get both of them two in, Zlatan and Griezmann.
Who would you choose, Joe? First signing of the summer, obviously not Messi. Talking realistically,
Cristiano.
who would be first name on your hit list for the summer if you were Ed Woodward and Jose?
I mean, I was just having a look. He said the rumours are the lad, the midfielder from Atletico. That's the rumour, isn't it?
I know Nick absolutely loves him.
Yeah,
I know you said
thanks,
you'd buy a shirt if he came. So
Yeah,
I know
I've bought a shirt for a long time.
I know Nick's pretty excited about that.
Oh,
so
very.
you'd look to strengthen up in midfield then?
Well, it is weak, isn't it? I remember you challenged me the other week about who would you put in midfield, and there wasn't anyone. And we have Carrick, who's been doing a great job. I mean, he's not going to. He's what, 35 or 30? Yeah. He's gone. He's done now. You can't play any more football. He's
going to stay next season, from what we understand.
Well, yeah,
but
I know,
there's no way he can play that sort of role on a regular basis anyway.
Exactly.
I think
So
he'll be used sparingly, won't he?
Yeah.
I can't see Schweinsteiger getting back in the squad. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong to even mention his name. I feel like he's attached to Van Gaal and should go with him. Schneiderlin, just not good enough for United. Not a United player. We thought we were excited by him last year, him coming. Just not good enough for what we needed. Just hasn't filled in. I thought he'd be maybe the next Michael Carrick, kind of filling in where Carrick can't anymore. But Carrick's doing a better job than him. And
there are very few people in the league, and in general in world football that have the vision to pick a pass out like Carrick. Well, he still has it, obviously affected by pace now.
More defensively, he just doesn't. He hasn't offered anything. I know people can pull up the stats, and the teenagers can get all the stats up saying, without Schneiderlin we've won this many.
Squawker soldiers.
Yeah, the Squawker soldiers. But no, it's wrong because he doesn't improve the side to me.
I think we're judging him based off Van Gaal, though.
Well, this is it. This is
pillock.
also my issue. That Memphis, I'm hoping will come good. That's one player, so I don't want to invest in the wings.
So you've decided Schneiderlin's not good enough under a season of Van Gaal, but Memphis will come good.
Well, he's younger, isn't he? That's my logic behind it. That
Schneiderlin had been excellent at Southampton.
He was very, very good.
Yeah, but he doesn't fit with the United squad. Maybe he will. Maybe we can build. I think he needs more players around him. I
think he needs better players around him.
Yeah, well, someone who actually makes a run might be nice, and then maybe there is a pass there. But
and that's why the first person I'd want signed on the dotted line would be N'Golo Kante from Leicester. I think if you're sitting at him next to Schneiderlin, I think that's an awesome midfield.
Can we just have all of them?
What,
Saul,
the whole Leicester squad?
No, Saul, Kante,
right.
Griezmann,
Let's just
Zlatan.
If all our targets come in, that's quite a squad we'll put together. Yeah, Varane would be wonderful.
I mean, I would probably, going back to your original question, I probably would look at someone like Griezmann, someone like that. It's quite an exciting name to have in the Premier League, isn't it? He's never seen him before, but again, it's a risky one. But I'd like to see him.
Yeah, I think he'd be brilliant.
Excellent. Well, much more to discuss, including the Last Chance Saloon game that we saw on Twitter the other day. We're going to run through that and see who you're shipping out the door and who you're giving one more chance to, and we'll see if we agree with your thoughts on that. But before we do that, there's an absolutely massive fan takeover to run through, and that's coming up next. So it was the final Monday in which the fan takeover will be with you for this season. We're back with you for that in August when the season re-kicks off. So in the meantime, we're going to have to find some filler over the summer to fill in those Mondays, because Mondays got so much better with the fan takeover. They really did. But we're going to run through some of the polls that we had from this week, see if we agree with the opinions that were put out there from the questions that we asked you from 12 o'clock. And kicking off things, Nick, the first question we asked in this week's final fan takeover was, with the handling of Louis Van Gaal's sacking, which was farcical and as boring as his football was, do you trust the United board to get things right over the summer?
No.
This was a really tough one with the fans. It was a 50-50 split. They couldn't make their mind up, but you don't trust the board going forward?
Not at all, no. I think Jose Mourinho wasn't an appointment, an inspired appointment. It was because he was out there and he wants the job. It wasn't that Woodward's been a tactical genius and got Jose in, one of the best managers in the world. Jose wanted the job. It wasn't like Ed Woodward sought after him. I don't trust the board one bit. I think Ed Woodward's a bit of an idiot. I don't think he knows what he's doing half the time. But the one positive, Jose does know what he's doing and will have his targets identified early, and he will go for them early, hopefully before the Euros, so we can get business out of the way. I've always said on RDC, if we're still in the transfer window on deadline day, there's an issue. And it's been every year since Fergie left.
Absolutely right. Will they be able to then, with the help of Jose, obviously well known with Mendes as his agent, will he be able to get the names down? Will he be given control of who signs it as opposed to Woodward? We've seen failings. Do the board now throw it to management and say, look, you're in charge of the club and this is what we're doing going forward. You're making the calls now.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Jose will have full control over it. I think if you look at Jose's career, at Real Madrid he had Perez hovering over him, at Inter Milan he had Moratti hovering over him. At Chelsea he had Abramovich, he had 3 idiots at the top that didn't really know what they're doing. And he's had to sort of work with them. And obviously he signed Shevchenko for 50 odd million when he was 30. And that wasn't Jose Mourinho's buy, that was Abramovich's buy. But he won't have that at United. I think Woodward will just go back to doing what he does. He's marketing, he's communicating.
Which he's very good at.
Which I think he has a massive role for at Manchester United. In getting involved in football matters and transfers, he does not have a role with. Now Jose will be, hopefully, the sole person in charge of all that.
Let's hope so. Now, we're going to get some opinions on from phone guests who's going to join us now just to talk through. We've got Kev on the line with us at the moment, of course, regular with the United stand. Great to have him back as well. I haven't seen him for a bit, apart from his van cams. How are you doing, Kev?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Good, good. Nice to hear from you. How have you been keeping?
All right, not too bad. Nice trip to Wembley last week.
Absolutely, yeah, in the end at least.
Yeah, just about recovered. Nearly a week ago, just
got
recovered
any nails
from
left,
it.
Kev?
Hey?
Got any nails left?
So it was a good day out.
And of course, since then, we've had further good news, albeit handled pretty poorly, as me and Nick were just discussing by the board, in LVG's leaked sacking, the biggest non-secret of the season. And Mourinho, of course, coming in. How are you feeling going forward, Kev?
I think I probably speak for the majority of fans. I mean, how can you not be excited about Mourinho taking over? And I think just hearing him yesterday, and I know he's not done a full press conference, but I think what he said on MUTV, it's just believable. I think we've got a manager now who can basically talk the talk, and he'll definitely walk the walk. I think I was just listening to you then. I think he will obviously have full control over everything which he needs. I don't think he's had that before at any club that he's really managed. So, just really excited. And like Mourinho, the man himself, said yesterday, you just cannot wait for the season to start now.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some big names in the Premier League for next season, Kev. Obviously, we've got Jose. City have gone and got themselves Pep. Of course, Conte's coming. Wenger will probably still be in a job at Arsenal.
Pochettino.
And, of course, you've got Klopp, Pochettino, as Nick says there. In terms of attracting the big names, obviously there's a lot of targets out there touted, but there's only so much world-class talent out there, Kev. Do you think Mourinho has what it takes with his name and obviously contacts to get in the big calls and big signings over our rivals?
Yeah, and I think it's... I mean, at the end of the day, Manchester United, the name alone and the history of the club should be big enough to attract big-name players. But I think the key for me now is Mourinho coming in. We've got this connection back now with George Mendes. I mean, he is like the super agent, and the links that he has with him now, I think it'll be the main part of De Gea staying. I think if Van Gaal would have stayed on another season, there's question marks about whether De Gea would have actually stuck around. But Mourinho coming in now, like I say, the links with Mendes, I think we'll see top draw players coming in. United will be the name alone. The fact that Jose Mourinho, I mean, the fact we're being linked with Ibrahimovic, regardless of whether he's 34-year-old, or not, he will come in and he'll do a job, even if it's for 1 or 2 years. But he's the type of player that we need at Old Trafford.
How many players do you think will sign, Kev?
I think there'll be a bit of a clear out. I think there'll be players that are worried there. Obviously, I think players like Juan Mata will be a bit fearful, only because obviously Mourinho sold him at Chelsea. But players coming in, I would say we're probably looking at about 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Very good players.
I don't think we need to sell a lot either. I think the squad's very thin at the moment. I think maybe 2, maybe 3 faces go.
In fairness to Van Gaal, that's something that he did do. I mean, you can say he did clear out the deadwood. He got rid of a lot of players. And yeah, I don't think there's. It just needs slightly tweaking. But Mourinho will. I think he's known for a long time that he was taking over United, and he's not just been sat around drinking red wine in his Chelsea apartment. I think he's been planning for this now. I think, and he'll have been working with George Mendes, letting him know. The targets that he wants to bring with him.
Any ideas on who you think we'll get? Barring obviously being heavily linked with Zlatan. What about Griezmann?
I'd love to see him. I think he's a fantastic. I'm really looking forward to the Champions League final later to see him play.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there'll be a lot of clubs in for him. There's a lot of targets. There's certain areas we need to strengthen. I would say defensively. But I think an interesting one that's obviously come out is Willian from Chelsea. It's a player that Mourinho obviously signed at Chelsea, and he knows exactly what he'll get. And what Mourinho will want is athleticism, strong, powerful players. I think we've been missing that for a few seasons.
Do you think he'll go in for Saul, the Atletico Madrid midfielder?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But like I say, I really do. He will know exactly who he wants to bring in.
Yeah.
And Jose Mourinho is a manager that basically players want to play for him. You just can't help but be excited about the new season ahead.
Going forward then, and a lot of players being linked coming in, Kev. Question that came in that was included in this week's fan takeover that put out there on the polls was from Alex, of course, from the United stand at AXAS23. Saying, under new management, what does the future hold for someone like Rashford? Obviously, a lot of attacking targets coming in there. Of the vote, just to give you how it ran through, Kev, before we get your opinion, 47% of fans who voted on this said that he's going to be benched. 37% think he'll be starting. 9% think he'll be loaned out, and 7% said he'll be moved into a new position. With the array of targets out there and potential for big name signings coming in up front, players like Rashford, I've always said, and we discussed this earlier on, that
he shouldn't be playing every week anyway, Andy.
He shouldn't be, and there's a myth about Mourinho and youth, so I don't worry about them being bedded in. Where do you stand on this, Kev? Players like Rashford, Fosu Mensah, even Lingard, I know not one of the youngsters, but still coming through and developing. Where are the futures lying for players like that?
I think how could you ignore him on current form? I've always been a firm believer, really, you should be in the first team on current form. And like you say, that this myth that Mourinho doesn't, promote youth within the club. At Manchester United now, he's inheriting a kind of youth team where these players, if they're good enough, they're old enough. And I don't think Mourinho will overlook that. I certainly wouldn't say Rashford would go out on loan. I think he'll be part of the first team setup. But I would agree with the people that say I don't think he will be a starter every week. I think he's got a hell of a lot to learn. Yeah, he scored for England there last night, and he does look the part. But I think you need to put an arm around him. He's 18 years old. The hype surrounding him because he plays for United. He's been called up for England. I think we can get slightly carried away, but. I mean, like I mentioned before, you bring in a player like Ibrahimovic, if the rumours are true, and somebody like Marcus Rashford, I don't think he'll look at that negatively and say, oh, Ibrahimovic is coming in, I'm going to be on the bench. He's going to be training with Zlatan every day. And how can you not learn from a player like that?
Invaluable experience, absolutely right.
Development as a youth player, you'd be absolutely buzzing to be playing and training alongside somebody like that. You can only learn from him.
Absolutely right. Kev, some excellent points made. Just remind people where they can give you a follow on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @KevinAshford7. So if you want to give us a follow, just get on there. Please do. Always great to have a chat with you, Kev. Thanks for joining us on the phone in. Great show, lads. Thanks very much for having me on. There you go, Kev from the United Sun regular, joining us with his thoughts, and we're delighted, I believe, to be joined on the line by a very, very special guest indeed. Full-time Devils regular Stephen Howson is on the line with us now. How are you?
All right, lads, not too bad.
Excellent, good to speak to you. Just first of all, Stephen, just get your opinion on the Mourinho signing now. It's finally come out. How are you feeling? Was he your number one priority in terms of managerial targets?
I didn't have a target, in all honesty. I didn't think there was any one standout candidate. I thought everyone that was being touted for the job had one or two negatives. Mourinho probably had more positives than the rest, and probably the fewest negatives. So, on reflection, it probably is the best one out there. But I've been getting told since early February that it was going to be Mourinho in June anyway. So it's hardly a shock. So
it was the world's worst kept secret, wasn't it?
It was. I've been adjusted to it since then, really. So it's not a shock, but it's nice to see the reaction of opposition fans and the media, because that tells me I'm obviously clouded. I'm in the United world, so I think everything's about United all the time anyway. But I think it's obvious from the reaction of the opposition fans and the opposition, the media especially, that this is an appointment that scares the rest of the league, and that makes me overlook my own doubts over him.
Absolutely. We heard you briefly talk to BBC Sport regarding what's next for Ryan Giggs, and it was a very brief line that we heard from the end there. So just to get a little bit more on your thoughts on Giggs, you said you thought he was going to go. Are you standing by that, and what do you think he needs to do going forward?
I wouldn't be surprised if he stays, in all honesty, but I do think he should go.
Right.
Ryan Giggs is the most successful footballer that English football's ever seen, and he's been sort of mollycoddled in this managerial role and this assistant manager role that he's been getting at Old Trafford, and he's done nothing to warrant it as a manager. What he's done on the pitch is beyond reproach. It is literally the best thing anybody's ever done on the pitch, but this is a different game. It might as well be a different sport. He's got to prove himself, and for me, he's got to prove himself either with a Championship club or a Premier League club. Even if it had took the under-18s for a couple of seasons and we could have seen what his managerial style's like, what his man-to-man management like, how he's able to affect a game that's going wrong, how he copes with that sort of stuff. Because when you're an assistant manager, as we've seen, none of the rubbish has stuck to him. None of what's gone wrong under Moyes or under Louis Van Gaal has stuck to Ryan Giggs. And you think, well, if none of it stuck to him, then is he not doing anything whatsoever? He needs to go and stand on his own 2 feet like Gary Neville did. At least we know with Gary Neville now what to expect. It didn't work out for Gary Neville, but he's still above Giggs in terms of experience.
Absolutely right. And do you think there's almost then perhaps an arrogance from Ryan Giggs, or an expectation, or some sort of right that he feels he has, some sort of sense of entitlement, that because he was, as you say, one of the most decorated, if not the most decorated Premier League player ever, that he should be automatically getting these gigs and perhaps be given, a shot at the big job straight away? I mean, you've looked at Swansea. There was an opportunity there before Guardiola signed to stay. Obviously, Aston Villa, look, now they're getting Di Matteo now. Derby have got Nigel Pearson. Is he missing out on good opportunities to have gone and got that experience? Are those doors shutting for Giggs the longer he sticks out?
I think so, yeah. If you look at just the top managers that are in the Premier League as well, for the inexperience that he's got, if he could bag a Premier League job, would be incredible in the first chance. I think Rafa Benitez is likely to be in the Championship still, isn't it? I mean,
he's staying on, yeah.
He is staying on.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year extension, yeah.
There you go. You've got Rafa Benitez managing in the Championship. Now,
good
what gives Ryan Giggs the right to think that he's above that? He needs to go and prove himself. Like, he's got to treat this as 2 careers, forget what he's done, and almost hark back to what he was when he was 17 and 16 years old, where he had to prove himself as a player. And once he proved himself, he was moved into the first team. The same thing will happen if he takes a Championship club on and proves himself as a manager. He'll be quickly escalated because there's a lot of eyes on him. He'll be quickly escalated into the contention for the Welsh manager job or for a top 10 Premier League job. And if he goes there and he does a semi-decent job, like even if he did something along the lines of what Koeman's done at Southampton, there would be people absolutely clamouring for Ryan Giggs to be given the Manchester United job on the back of that, because success is different everywhere you go. And I think if he had relative success with a mid-table team, the clamour for what he would do with a Manchester United would be deafening.
Absolutely right. Going back to the manager that we currently have then in signing Mourinho, we put the question out there this week to what you think the number one priority is for Mourinho, what it is that they would set out as the board first as priority. The options being to win a trophy, play entertaining football, playing youth, or off-field behaviour. In terms of the poll that came back, the majority of 46% said that winning a trophy was the most important thing. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because ultimately Sir Alex Ferguson was a bit of a crank at times as well, wasn't he? So I think you can almost excuse some of the antics he's more of a circus than Fergie ever was. He's like an internet version of what Fergie was like, isn't he? Where everything's just overhyped with him. The playing of the youth, he's written this letter and it to us, which I'm positive must have had a paragraph or two.
Yeah.
I think he will at least try to play the youth. The difference between him and maybe some of our previous managers is if it goes wrong, I don't know how he'll respond with the youth. I don't know if he's got the patience to see it through with youth, because that's a side of his game we've not seen just yet. So I'm open-minded on it all. I'm not declaring this the greatest appointment in the history of football. I'm not saying we should have never got him. I'm just saying, well, he was probably the best one available out there. Let's see what happens, because the Manchester Derby next season alone is going to be worth the viewing, isn't it?
It's going to be quite a fixture, isn't it?
Already.
Absolutely.
If Sky and the Premier League had anything about them, they'd make it the opening fixture, because it's not going to get any bigger than that. I don't think it'll be October and April, March like it usually is. But
yeah,
I would love to see it open the season.
That'd be some curtain raiser, wouldn't it? On the back of us winning a trophy, then, Howson. Just moving on to obviously the FA Cup, we're just reflecting on some positives that we did get from this season. In terms of your feeling from that, I've always had this theory of once United won a trophy, whether it's the FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League, whatever it was just important to get a first sort of major trophy in. I think United obviously need to be aiming higher than the FA Cup, but I think now we've won a cup, we can now move on as a club away from the Fergie era. How would you stand on that? Can that push us forward?
Yes, I think maybe the significance of the trophy is being overplayed a little bit. It's also been underplayed as well, which is a massive contradiction, I know, but I think it's been overplayed in terms of what it means, because we won a trophy in 2004 and still took us several years to win the league under Sir Alex Ferguson as well. So it just literally depends on the team that you've got and the teams that you're playing against. And I think the Premier League is as strong as it's ever been now. I know the outings in Europe don't really reflect that, but this is the most competitive we've ever seen in the Premier League. I mean, there's 8 teams probably going for top 4 next year. There's probably 5 teams that think they can win it. So I think we might even have to mentally adjust to the fact that top 4 every single season is not a given, and it's not an abject failure if you come maybe 5th occasionally, because I think there's that many teams in the mix. I mean, that's going to change in a couple of years, because all of these managers will not be around in 2-3 years. Most of these managers will be here next year, but some will have gone. There's not enough success for 8 top-class managers to go around in one league. So I think next year could be the most crazy season we've seen, but then they'll start getting sacked and then they'll be replaced with lesser managers. And I think it'll probably return to normalcy in probably 3-4 years, but the next 2 seasons could be just ridiculous, because Leicester are still going to be in the mix. Spurs will be in the mix. Arsenal will be in the mix. Liverpool will be in the mix. Chelsea will be in the mix. We'll be in the mix. City will be in the mix. West Ham and Southampton could still be in the mix. It's absolutely mental next season. It could be the lowest points tally we've ever seen for a champion. There's no one running away with this. No one's going to go undefeated. No one's going to lose 2 or 3 games. Next season is going to be absolutely mental.
It's going to be tight at the top, and what a way to build it up. It should be a cracker. Thanks very much for joining us, Howson, and please do give these guys a follow on Twitter. I'm sure you already do at Time Devils, and of course, give Howson a follow as well. Howson, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Anytime, lads.
Cheers. There you go. Stephen Howson from Time Devils and Kev from the United Stand joining us for the review of the season. What a fan takeover that was. A real whirlwind. Last few bits from us then, just in clearing up from our side. It was the last chance saloon game that we played during the week. We're going to have a look at who's in and who is out. Will you give them one more chance or show them the door? We'll discuss that next. I was almost expecting a highlights package there of the best bits of the season with that music.
Sorry.
It just reminds me of the
bits of
packages
RDC.
that you put together earlier in the season.
Oh, it's done twice now. Two occasions. Yeah, there's no highlights for the past couple of weeks, so I thought
that's very much true.
If you wanted a bomb noise, I can give you one of them. What else can I give you?
Yeah, just before we do move on to the last chance.
Highlights of Red Devil Chronicles. We should have that. Highlights of the season.
I think Joe tried to put it together, but it was only about 20 seconds a clip. So
yeah, that's pretty bad, that, isn't it?
But Joe, on the subject that you've just raised there, just a brief mention to it. You, of course, you were at Old Trafford for the Bournemouth game the first time round.
And the second.
Well, yeah, obviously they're the second. I'm glad that you did go back, and obviously all was well in the end. But just give us a brief insight to what that day was like.
Sure, there's only two things I remember from this season, and it's Van Gaal throwing himself on the floor and a bomb scare. And
what a bizarre season.
It's quite sad, really, to take that from it. But no, I was one of the fortunate ones who got to my seat in the East Stand and just slowly saw people, because we had no idea what was going on for quite a while, and just slowly saw people like start to trundle out from the Stretford end and obviously the South Stand. I said to I go with one of the lads, and I said to him, I said, God, they must be having a bargain on the half-time pies, and them two. And then obviously this aggressive lady starts shouting Operation Red at me, and we're just told numerous times to stay in our seats. So we're just sat in a stadium.
Because you were one of the two stands that were kept in, weren't you?
Yeah, well, we were sat there with BBC saying there's a bomb scare, and we're all sat there on Twitter like we know more from Twitter than the stadium are giving. It's just I can't say it was the best thing. I mean, everyone's making out in the media that they did such a fine job, but I'm going to criticise it a slight tad, because leaving half of your stadium sat there with potentially bombs in the stadium, it probably isn't the best idea. It wasn't a fantastic occasion, but no,
I agree. I think they evacuated really well two of the stands, and then from there almost forgot about the other two.
Some of the people ended up in the players' car park.
Yeah,
I've got pictures. I've seen like a few of the people I know. Got pictures with like Rooney's car and also. I was like, what?
It sums up the way United are run at the moment, though.
Yeah.
Farcical.
Can it be any more of a circus under Mourinho, even if he misbehaves, than what we've just had? It's a fun circus.
I don't think we'll see any more training exercises going on in the near future.
Possibly do that at another venue.
Mourinho will bring, obviously, I tweeted it earlier this week. He'll bring a lot of tears, a lot of smiles. There'll be a lot of confusion with what he's going on about, but albeit. He'll win us things, and it'll be a great circus to be part of. It'll be chaos. It'll be fun. Rivals are hating us again. I'm happy.
And Howson's just built it up absolutely beautifully.
First game of the season. What's the derby? I'm up for that.
I'm up for that. If the FA are in for it, we're in for it.
Yeah,
let's make it happen.
Well, interesting. Leicester United
in the Community Shield,
whatever it is called,
the
Mickey
Mouse Cup. Yeah,
but it's still an interesting game. It's quite
first trophy for Mourinho.
You know what I mean? Well, it's more exciting than probably a lot of Community Shields have gone. It could with a few signings. It could be an exciting game.
That's a good day out.
Should be good.
It's a good day out. Let's move on to the final feature of the show then, and the end of season review on our 25th studio show. It's been a cracker. Last Chance Saloon was the game we played with you during the week, simply asking around a lot of United players whether you'd give them one more chance if they deserve a shot under Mourinho, or whether they've shown already that they're incompetent and that they are not of the quality needed to play for Manchester United and do not deserve another shot at the shirt. We're going to start with perhaps the most obvious one, Fellarney, as I have to pronounce it now.
Yeah, that's the rules now in the studio, Fellarney.
Now, Fellarney was one of these players that was shown the door through the vote that we had on Twitter. 73% of the fans said that we should get rid this summer. You're shaking your head, Nick, and I know we've had a brief chat about this. Explain your thoughts.
Fellarney's not world class. He's not a great player, but what he does bring, opposition teams hate playing against him. They hate it. They kick him, they elbow him. And
I hate watching him. So
I do, but at the meantime, when I look at him, I just think he brings something different. And if you're needing a goal with 10 minutes to go, I'd still keep him around as a horrible plan B, because Fellarney can do something. Fans forget Fellarney scored the goal against Crystal Palace to get us top four, and if Fellarney wouldn't have scored that,
Andy laid off Young.
You're over-egging Fellaini there.
Newcastle, he laid off
Young. I'm not Fellaini's biggest fan. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's United quality, but he brings something different.
Nick, I can tell you were out last night, because I've never thought I'd hear this word from your mouth.
He brings something horrible to the United team, which
that's not a good thing.
Part of me likes it.
Send him back to Everton.
Well, there you go. So Fellaini stays for us, and we'll move on because I'm sick of pronouncing his name like that already. Lingard was next on.
I'm infuriated by this.
I was going to say this might be one for you to answer on, Joe. We put it out there. Should we give Lingard one more chance? 80% of the fans said yes, we should. Joe, discuss.
Well, it's just ridiculous. Nick, you just said squad player. he doesn't offer anything. The only 2 games, and fair enough, they've been big games. He's been City in the FA Cup final. He's offered something other than
Wonder goal against Chelsea.
Yeah, well, I don't care. I don't. They finished 10th. We should be beating mid-table teams. So I think
Brilliant logic in the studio today.
There is.
it's just ridiculous.
Joe, I should say, was one of the 3 of us that didn't go out last night who's saying this.
That's quite.
I don't
scary.
like Lingard. I mean, that video he posted in the coach, it really infuriated me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I just think he's not a very Man United player. He's just a bit scrawny, a bit. I could knock him off the ball, and that's not saying a lot.
Do you not think he offers something? Fellarney's not a Man United player, but he does offer something to the squad.
What does he offer? A bit of, you don't know what he's going to do. He's like letting a Yorkshire Terrier off a lead. That's how I describe Lingard. It just goes everywhere. It just does. You don't know where
With an
he's going to go.
injection of pace about it, but
Well, yeah, the dogs are pretty fast, and so is Lingard.
well, there's your quote of the day. Dogs are pretty fast, and so is Lingard. So moving on then, Memphis.
I'm okay with this one.
I think we're all okay with this. 89%
He
said
deserves another
Memphis
chance.
deserves another chance,
Yeah.
and I think that's fair
His
enough.
confidence is
I'm
rock bottom.
so excited to see Memphis play a game that he doesn't have to stop at the halfway line and
He
just go
has-
back and defend.
Mm.
He has everything to succeed. He's got the physique. He's got the talent. He's got the ability.
Does he have the attitude,
He
though?
can rap.
That's the one bit of kryptonite that I was about to say is his attitude. Can Mourinho get the best out of him? From the outside looking in, it looks like a match made in heaven. Arrogant to arrogance. So we'll see
It'll
what
go
happens.
one or two ways, won't he? He'll have
Yeah.
a boot mark in his head from like Beckham did, or it'll be
yeah.
absolutely brilliant,
It'll be
like he did
amazing
with
or poor.
Hazard.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's another
I
Hazard.
think we
and
all are, mate.
Just not a Hazard of last season.
Well, no, of the one that won Young Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
No.
I want that from Memphis next year.
I think, as you say, it all depends on whether or not Memphis and his attitude buys into Jose's journey, and I think that's going to be a big thing with a lot of players, because otherwise you clash with Mourinho.
He's
You're
buying
probably gonna get
into
out the
buying
door.
into Mourinho's philosophy, Andy.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I
Oh
do.
no, don't you?
I thought that word was gone.
It's gone. It's gone. It's banned from the studio. It's banned.
Next player that was shown the door in running through the remainder of the list was
I'm upset about
Rojo.
this one.
We were all really excited when he came. I mean, I absolutely love the guy.
I like him.
I know you love the guy.
I like his passion. I like his aggression. I like these little hashtag Rocco is a red. But he doesn't back it up with his performances
No.
on the pitch, I must admit.
Not being able to perform a 5-yard pass.
But can Mourinho
has
get?
to be
Can
a
Mourinho?
basic
He's
essential.
got everything that Mourinho likes in a player. He's got the tenacity. He's got the aggression. He's got the passion.
Where's he playing though?
He's Argentinian.
He's not a left back. I think we've established he's not.
And Luke Shaw's our number one left
Exactly,
back. So where's
so-
he playing? Is he going to play centre back with the targets we're in for?
Squad player.
Squad player is what I'm thinking, Andy.
Well, the fans have shown him the door. We're maybe keeping him as a squad player. There were a few more here that have been given one more chance. I was quite surprised out of these by Juan Mata being given one more chance, because Mourinho, of course, didn't like him the first time round at Chelsea. What's going to change this time round?
I don't know what's happened to Mata. I don't actually know what happened to him. He was our best
Van
player.
Gaal.
He was our best player at the start of the season. Easily, one of the best players on the pitch. One you actually thought, oh, there's a player who's doing something, but he's just not good enough, is he? It's a shame for him.
I made a tweet it must be about a year ago now, Andy. You applauded me for it, thank you. About if Van Mata had lightning quick pace, he'd probably be one of the top 5 players in the world.
He's a bit of just a poor man's Silver, isn't he?
He is. He doesn't have that extra yard to go past the player, and he doesn't have that extra bit of skill to create something world class. He's a very, very gifted player. He's very, very good.
My issue is he looks like he's running through treacle at times.
Yeah, I know. And
A lot
I
of
question:
flailing of
is he suited for the Premier League, Andy?
I don't know if he is, because the thing is, if you put him into his best position of number 10, in behind the striker, if you've got pace around him, I still think he can work. But in the auditions he's had for United in that position, for the money we spent on him,
We're not going
that
to win. We're not
outlay
going
has
to win
never
the
been
league.
repaid,
No,
and
we're
you're
not-
not going to win the league, especially if we sign
He
Zlatan.
gave us some wonderful moments, i.e. Liverpool away being...
You're not going to play him on the wing because he's not a winger, and he never works back, and Mourinho don't like that. I
Well,
think there are
Liverpool
better
away
number 10
where
options.
Valencia hit the ball at him, or is that
Is he good
wonderful?
enough? Deep line midfield?
No.
What?
He's not good
No,
enough
not
for
at all.
No.
I don't think he's physical enough.
that. Well, Xavi was only the same height as him. He played defensive
No,
midfield.
but in all fairness, Mata can't make a tackle.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, without getting sent off.
Very true.
I was very upset with him that day.
Yeah, I was as well. A couple more players that have been given one more chance. Michael Carrick, I can understand, give him one more season. He's there for experience.
There's no point getting rid.
Schweinsteiger voted 76% of the fans had one more chance. Again, I can kind of get that as a backup.
We don't have any experience in the squad. So.
Here's one. Should we open up? Have you got the bell ready, Joe? Wayne Rooney.
No.
One more chance.
Nuh-uh.
71% of fans said give him one more chance. Nick, again shaking your head.
Charles.
Hello, Charles.
Just get rid. No. I'm still.
I want to see more X-Men.
We've been doing this
adverts
podcast
with Rooney.
We've been doing this podcast quite a while, Andy. You know my
Just
feelings.
over a year now.
Yeah, you know my feelings. I'm not changed. I'm not subsided. I want rid. Bye. Get rid. Not deserve to be captain.
Why though?
He's not good enough.
Yes, he is. Have
No.
you not? Him in midfield has been fantastic.
He's only in midfield because he's rubbish up front.
For me, he won that FA Cup final.
Well, Jesse Lingard did.
No,
Yeah,
but
one in,
without Rooney on that pitch, it wouldn't be
I
anything.
know what
maintain
you mean.
he's
It
still
was
a good player.
It was a brilliant run for the first
he is
goal.
a good player, but he's not good enough for Manchester United. He's not good enough to be captain.
Don't care. He's going to retire at the club, and I can't.
Makes my blood boil.
Well,
He handed in 2 transfer requests.
I don't care what he
He
does.
shouldn't be in the team.
He's done more than enough for United, and he'll continue to do.
Yeah, because
more
now
than
we
enough
can
for
now we
United.
can let him go as a legend and sell him back to Everton.
The fans have had their say, and they're keeping him. So we're going to have to go along with that. And we also put out on the fan takeover at C-Clay 1978 United, who unfortunately wasn't able to join us on the takeover, asked, have Rooney's recent performances convinced you that he should be in starting 11 next year?
No.
And only 15% said no.
I agree.
The fans have spoken.
Yeah, they got.
You've been outweighed.
There you go.
I just don't like Rooney.
Charles.
Someone being shown the door by the fans' vote.
Oh yeah, definitely.
By a massive 85%.
It's the Johnny Evans of 2016.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Just
the
get
forgotten man. It's the man with the injury
He's
suite
known for
named after
for
him.
taking corners.
Yeah, Phil Jones is being shown the door by everyone.
Yeah, bye.
I'll
Matteo
drive him
Darmian.
again. I offered to drive Johnny Evans out. I'll drive Phil Jones wherever he's going. I'll take him as well.
Darmian up next. He had his confidence destroyed, in my opinion, by LVG,
Yeah,
having
brilliant
looked
start.
really good
Definitely
pre-season.
deserves another chance.
And he gets one more chance from the fans with 88%. Daley Blind gets one more chance. I think he's
Why
a good
do fans
utility
like
player.
Daley Blind?
I don't.
Why does anybody like Daley Blind?
I think he's a rich
He's a
man's
squad
John
player.
O'Shea. And
Well,
I
if
don't
someone
mind
more
that.
person says to me he's an intelligent player, I'll throw a brick at them, because it's just so stupid. You can't be intelligent and then put a backpack. It was his fault why we were 1-0 down.
I know.
Why would you want him in the squad?
Player. He's a squad player.
No, he's not. He don't
I don't
even
think
deserve
he's
his
good
place.
enough for that, to be honest.
If you want to put him in the reserve squad, then that's fair enough.
So,
but anywhere else,
83% of the fans voting on that one.
what
Joe
really
is
mean?
threatening GBH.
well, Sky Sports. I don't remember when I tweeted that photo. The start of the City match. It was elite players: Rashford,
Yeah.
Blind, and who else was it? Lingard or something.
I can't
stupid.
remember.
It
I
was
just
just
remember
so
seeing Blind's
stupid.
face. Mm.
But I heard on BBC commentary that Blind's better than Smalling apparently, which is just even more. It's just a farce. It's just so
It's
stupid.
ludicrous.
I'm getting my brick ready.
Just to run through the 2 more players that were shown the door, because everyone else has been given one more chance in the squad. The 2 others, I imagine Joe will agree wholeheartedly with this one. Adnan Januzaj, 62% of fans said show the door.
It's not talent, it's attitude.
It might be a bit of both.
Really?
I don't know. He has flashes of it,
United players
but he's
say,
not consistent
United
enough
players
with it.
say in training he has moments of brilliance.
He's like a school kid.
Yeah.
That's how he's just never going to grow up, is he?
Moments of brilliance isn't good enough for Man United, Nick.
Thanks, Andy.
And Ashley Young was the other player who was shown the door by United fans. 55% of the fans voted to show him the door. A bit of a surprise one there, or
No.
not? Or again, not good enough.
I think he's a bit old now as well, isn't he? He's not
31 in September.
Ashley Old.
Ashley Old. I mean, I get that you want the experience in the club, but why are we playing people like Ashley Young when?
He's replaceable.
Well, he is. Why we? I don't get why we've even. He was great for us in 2015. He probably did secure his top 4, but what now? He's just a disappointing flop, isn't he?
He's just a guy who's just in charge of the music.
I'm just going to end off the end of season review by telling you that the most popular person to be given one more chance was Morgan Schneiderlin.
Yeah.
And I had to put him in this vote
agree with
because I personally don't think that we should be getting rid of him, but there have been fans criticising him recently.
Including
So
me.
I put it out there, and only 6% said show the door. So it's clearly a small minority that think Morgan Schneiderlin can't
I
do it
wouldn't
for
show
Man
him the
United.
door. I just
That
think
was
there's
the
better
Jose
options for us.
That was Joseph voting on the 6%.
Yeah,
just
started multiple Twitter accounts.
And I think he's just not going to be good enough. And I do think that there's better options out there that United could capture, and it's going to be tough without a Champions League place. But I think we could still get better players than Morgan Schneidel in our squad.
We can get better players than Ander Herrera.
Yeah, 87% of the fans actually said one more chance for Herrera.
Is he really good enough?
No,
I think he's just well liked.
That's what I get the feeling.
He's
He's
just
a really,
a nice guy.
really lovely guy. Really, don't get me wrong, good player, but is he good enough?
I'm not totally
I'm
bought
on the
the
fence.
fact that he is.
I'm not convinced at all.
Fellaini's a nice guy, and he's been shown the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we call him Fellarney, please?
Fellaini's, sorry, is that why you didn't respond?
I think with Herrera, when you look at the position he's supposed to be playing in the United team, he doesn't create enough. He doesn't assist enough. He doesn't chip in with goals enough.
People
he doesn't
say he doesn't
do
get enough
the
chance.
role that he needs
How
to.
long has he been here?
Well, Dad,
Is it 3 years now?
Well,
3 years.
2 seasons.
2
isn't it?
seasons he's had,
Season.
and he's not cemented a place. And if he was good enough, he would have cemented a place.
You would at some stage, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? But there you go. The fact that Wayne Rooney still gets a shout ahead of him.
I said at the start of the season that I expected to see Herrera in a 4-3-3, but LVG was just too stubborn to change anything.
Do you not think we're in a position where we can't sell many players at the moment because the squad is so light?
I agree we are, and based on the votes we've got here, 5 players are going, and,
Well, you
and
look
that
at that
leaves us
list, and that's our squad.
quite low,
yeah,
doesn't
I
it?
can't do that. I'd probably get rid of Jones out of that list and keep the rest, if I'm being honest.
I mean, really, you should be asking like questions like, should James Weir be staying in Borthwick Jackson? Because
I mean,
we've
they're
seen
all
more
kids, though.
We've seen more of them than we have
21 Weir now.
Yeah, they're
He
still
played
coming
well.
through, though.
Yeah.
played well. James Weir.
I don't think you could question getting rid of them at this stage. He hasn't had an opportunity.
I like Tim.
I think
Tim's
Fosu...
going to be a good player.
Tim wasn't even questioned. There were certain players on here that
There's
weren't
no
even
point.
questionable.
Yeah.
Fosu Mensah has looked very impressive, and he's still young. You've got Rashford, Martial, De Gea. Smalling, in my opinion, did not warrant going on that poll either. There's certain players that definitely are.
How many players
worthwhile staying.
would you actually sell from that list, Andy?
I would agree with showing the door definitely to Phil Jones.
Phil Jones
he's
is
never
the first
going to
gone,
do it.
yeah.
I would probably be tempted to show the door to Januzaj because I think it's never going to happen.
I'd
for
agree
him.
with that. It's just it gets too light then.
It does get light.
Dortmund sent him back, didn't they? Really?
Yeah.
They didn't want him either.
As much as I dislike Rooney,
There are some players in there that I don't think should be playing regularly for this club.
oh yeah,
I think Juan Mata, Wayne Rooney, Fellaini, Rojo, players like that all have question marks. Lingard has a big question mark still from me as well.
They're not good enough.
There's a lot of question marks, but I think if that was the basis of a squad,
you can't. Get rid
and
of
then
it.
you put in some stars into it, I think that's. I think there's still a good blend of players in there. If you bring in the right people.
I agree completely. So we're thinking just Januzaj and Rooney and Januzaj and Jones. Sorry, that we get rid of.
You wish
tried.
he-
You
yeah, he
tried.
tried to put Rooney in, didn't he? And that's very, very apt way in which we should end the end of season review show. It's been an absolute pleasure to join you, and we will be with you over the summer still. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We'll be discussing all the big transfer rumours. I'll probably be getting my picture out, destroying the media about how many targets we're linked with again, and getting retweeted, but not giving any credit for it.
Shirt.
Yep, Nick will be buying his new shirt. Joe, are you buying a new shirt over the summer? It's been leaked. Do you like it?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
It looks like a training
He's
kit.
undecided.
It does look like a
Yeah, it
training
does look
kit.
like a training
And they
kit.
also look a bit cottony.
It
Might
looks
be
a little
warm.
bit like the home kit's got like blockbusters being played down it, so it's got those little like
Well,
octagons.
They have the 21st Century Fox music before every game now, which is just ridiculous. So it's fitting with that, isn't it?
Maybe next year it'll be the theme of a circus.
Oh dear. Well, exactly. Mourinho, 21st Century Fox. What more could you ask for?
What a season coming ahead. Will Jose divide or conquer? We'll be with you over the summer. Thanks as always for listening. Watching? What am I talking about?
Maybe coming soon. You never know.
We may be watching soon. Do give us a follow, though, at We Follow United. Do subscribe for regular content. Do give the video a like if you like what we do. And get involved as always. It's been a pleasure. Have a good one.
Fellarney.